There is a sacred moment that most people miss. It happens in the first few minutes after you wake up, before the mind rushes in, before the world reminds you of who you were yesterday. In this soft, lucid space, your brain is moving through alpha waves, calm, receptive, and deeply impressionable. It is the frequency between sleep and wakefulness, between the dream world and the physical. And in this delicate state, your subconscious is wide open, like a doorway to the quantum field. You are no longer thinking reality into existence. You are feeling it into form. This is the moment where you don't just start your day, you start your vibration. Whatever emotional tone you tune into becomes the signal that ripples out and begins to collapse probabilities into physical form. If you wake up and immediately check your phone, worry about your schedule, or recall yesterday's frustrations, you reactivate the past and program the field to bring you more of the same. But if instead, you begin with stillness, with a feeling of appreciation or possibility, you shift your trajectory entirely. Quantum physics shows us that observation collapses wave into matter. The morning is your first and most powerful observation. A person who starts the day in anxiety is not just anxious. They are selecting a timeline where more things will make them feel anxious. The energy you enter the day with is not just a feeling. It's a command to the field. It's the frequency that says, "This is who I am today." And the field never argues. It simply mirrors it back. You don't have to master the entire day. You only need to master the first few minutes, because that is when your reality is still soft, still listening, still ready to become. And if that's true, the question becomes, what exactly should you do in those golden morning moments to shift your life from the inside out? The moment you reach for your phone in the morning, you hand over your vibration to the outside world. Your nervous system immediately shifts from presence to reaction, from intention to distraction. The flood of notifications, headlines, and other people's energies hijacks the quantum field before your own essence even gets a chance to speak. Your subconscious, still open and malleable, becomes shaped by noise instead of silence, by urgency instead of truth. And yet, you hold the power to decide who touches your energy first. Imagine, instead of touching your phone, you touch your chest gently with your hand, close your eyes, and simply breathe. You become aware of the air moving in and out, the heartbeat beneath your palm, the stillness in the room. You whisper to yourself, "I am already here." In that moment, you are no longer chasing anything. You are claiming your vibration before the world does. These few minutes create a subtle but profound shift. They anchor you in a state of enoughness. They protect your energy from being diluted before it's even activated. Neuroscience confirms that our morning rituals set the tone for our emotional baseline. What you do in the first 5 minutes either sends you into survival mode or stabilizes your nervous system into receiving mode. When you begin with presence, gratitude, and breath, you begin as the field, not as the seeker. And the field responds in kind. The world doesn't get access to you until your soul does. That is the discipline of frequency. That is the choice to start from fullness rather than lack. You don't need a perfect routine or a 20-step protocol. You just need to claim your energy space before anything else enters. And once that space is grounded, you can begin the deeper work. You can start encoding your field with the vibration you want to live in. So what are the most effective tools to do that? How can you intentionally program your frequency before the day unfolds? The answer lies in a quantum strategy that is both ancient and cutting edge. Let's explore that next. Your morning is not the time to react. It is the sacred moment to remember who you are, not who the world expects, not who your past tells you to be, but the version of you that already exists in the quantum field. Clear, aligned, complete. You're not building that version. You're recalling it. That's the hidden truth most people miss. Manifestation is not about becoming more. It's about remembering what's already encoded in your energy. You are not here to chase a better life. You are here to align with it. And the fastest way to activate that remembrance is through vibration, not thought. Begin your day with silence. Breathe slowly, feel your body, then whisper the mantra softly like a returning echo from your soul. Say, I don't chase. I align. I remember who I am. Let the words wash over your nervous system. You're not trying to convince your mind. You're communicating with your field. You're reminding your cells. You're tuning your frequency to the truth beyond evidence. Each time you do this, you collapse the noise and re-enter your essence. You're no longer reaching outside for validation. You are calibrating from within. The most powerful people don't need to prove who they are. They sit in the quiet, knowing of their own frequency. And that knowing radiates louder than action. Just 1 minute of remembrance in the morning can stabilize your energy for hours. People who begin their day this way often report that their external world starts shifting effortlessly. Opportunities align. Chaos dissolves. Peace arrives without explanation, not because they forced it, but because their mirror, the quantum field, simply reflected their internal state. Remembering is the opposite of effort. It's the return to what's real. And once you're grounded in that remembrance, you're ready to go deeper. You're ready to build momentum with intention. So how do you turn this stillness into forward motion? How do you lock in this frequency for the rest of the day? Let's step into part 2 now, where we'll explore the 3 simple, potent practices that program your energy every single morning. Before the voice in your mind begins to narrate your day, there is a sacred space where your true guidance lives. It is not loud. It does not demand. It whispers beneath thought, beneath noise, beneath identity. This is the wisdom before words, and it only appears when you choose not to interrupt it. Right upon waking, your brain is suspended between sleep and alertness, floating in alpha waves. This is the window of magic, where your consciousness is closest to your essence. Most people miss this doorway. They grab their phone. They turn on the lights. They allow the world to speak before their soul does. But you are remembering. You are choosing a different rhythm. You are choosing to meet yourself first. In this moment, do not reach. Do not respond. Just breathe. Sit or lie still. Let the silence wrap around you like a warm cocoon. Let the beat of your heart become the first sound you hear. This is not emptiness. This is alignment. In silence, you're not disconnected. You are reconnecting to what has always been present. Beneath your thoughts is a knowing. Beneath your plans is a pulse, and that pulse has intelligence. When you start your day here, your energy stabilizes before the world pulls it. You create a buffer between you and chaos. People who honor just 5 minutes of total silence upon waking often report a deep calm carrying through the day. They're less reactive, more focused, more in tune with what matters. You're not trying to feel good. You're remembering that you already are peace, and silence is the space where that remembrance can rise. So pause, just for a few minutes. No talking, no scrolling, no reacting, only presence. The deepest voice in you doesn't speak in language. It speaks in sensation, in rhythm, in resonance. And when you allow this space before stimulation, you invite the wisdom that was buried beneath noise. You become the signal. And now, with stillness set, it's time to place your awareness on the most powerful center you have, the heart. Let's step into it now. Now that you've anchored yourself in stillness, it's time to listen to the center that speaks without words, your heart. Science now confirms what ancient wisdom always knew. According to research from the HeartMath, Institute. The heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. This means the true command center of your emotional frequency is not in your head, it's in your chest. And when you consciously connect with your heart each morning, you shift the entire energetic blueprint for your day. You're not reacting, you're conducting. So take a moment now to practice heart coherence breathing. Sit or lie down comfortably. Place your hand gently over your heart. Inhale slowly through your nose for 5 seconds. Exhale gently through your mouth for 5 seconds. As you breathe, imagine a warm sensation radiating from your heart space. Let this feeling be one of deep gratitude, or pure peace, or unconditional love. Whatever resonance you choose, let it expand. With every breath, allow the emotional tone to rise and settle like waves in a calm ocean. What you're doing here is not symbolic, it's biological. You are literally calibrating your nervous system. You are telling your brain, we are safe. You are telling your energy field, we are aligned. And you're doing it not by forcing thoughts, but by tuning into the strongest frequency available to you, your heart. Those who do this for just 3 minutes each morning report more emotional stability, sharper focus, and a surprising sense of confidence throughout their day. They don't need to control circumstances because they've already mastered their internal rhythm. So let the heart set the tone. The mind will follow. Let the breath carry your signal. Let the emotion power your intention. And now that the heart is open and your inner field is tuned, you're ready for the next step. Not to request, not to beg, but to send a signal so aligned, the universe has no choice but to reflect it. Now that your heart is activated and your frequency is grounded, you're standing at a sacred threshold. The moment before your first words shape the energy of your entire day. And in this still space, remember this. The words you speak are not meant to chase, convince, or request. They are meant to echo the truth you already embody. When you speak from a sense of lack, even if the words sound positive, the energy beneath them whispers doubt. But when you speak from fullness, from the presence of your heart, your words carry the frequency of certainty. So take one more deep breath into your chest. Settle into the space you've just opened. And now, choose one phrase. One quiet, powerful affirmation that doesn't reach outward, but rises from within. You might say to yourself, I'm already aligned with all that's meant for me. Or gently repeat, I am peace. I am clarity. I am here. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't even need to be audible. Whisper it in your mind like a sacred vow. Let each word flow through your body like warm light. Let it land in your cells. Let it guide your breath, your posture, your presence. This is not an empty affirmation. This is a frequency transmission. You are no longer asking the universe for something. You are remembering what is already yours. People who begin their morning with this kind of heartful speech often find that their outer world becomes a mirror for their inner coherence. Fewer emotional triggers, more aligned opportunities, a quieter mind, a stronger sense of self. Because when you speak from the field, not to the field, you become a tuning fork for reality. You no longer beg the day to go well. You declare that it already is. And from that declaration, your actions naturally align. So now that you've connected, remembered, and spoken from truth, it's time to step into motion. Not to fix, not to chase, but to flow from a place of inner completion. Let's move now into the final part of this morning ritual, frequency-based action. You can say all the right words and still remain stuck, because the universe doesn't respond to words, it responds to frequency. And the hidden truth is this: most affirmations people use are laced with a vibration of lack. When you say, I will have it, or I want this, you may feel motivated. But underneath those statements is a quiet signal that says, I don't have it yet. That subtle but powerful contradiction keeps you trapped in a loop. Your conscious mind speaks positivity, but your subconscious whispers disbelief. And it's the subconscious that holds the true frequency you broadcast. Imagine someone struggling financially who repeats every morning, "I am wealthy," yet their stomach tightens when the bills arrive and their thoughts spiral in fear. Despite the positive words, their dominant vibration is anxiety, not abundance. That's not a failure of effort. It's a misunderstanding of energy. When you speak what your body doesn't yet believe, you trigger internal resistance. And that resistance becomes a wall between you and the reality you seek. Your words might sound beautiful, but if they arise from desperation or doubt, the signal is distorted. So the key is not to stop affirming, it's to start affirming from truth, from alignment, from a place where your heart agrees with your mouth. This is why understanding the energy behind your language is essential. Not all affirmations are equal. Some elevate your frequency. Others reinforce your separation from what you desire. To shift your state, you must shift your source. Don't speak from wanting, speak from knowing. Don't affirm to convince yourself. Affirm to anchor what already lives inside you. Because the moment your vibration matches your declaration, reality begins to shape itself around your presence. So if you felt stuck, repeating the same mantras without change, it's not your fault, it's your starting point. And that can be adjusted instantly. You don't need more effort. You need deeper alignment. And the most graceful way to begin that alignment is not with force, but with a feeling that naturally dissolves resistance. Let's move now into the next key, using gratitude as the gateway to affirmation without struggle. The fastest way to shift your vibration from lack to abundance is not through effort or repetition, but through genuine gratitude. Gratitude is the language of completion. It signals to your subconscious that what you desire is already present, already yours, already real in the energetic realm. When you express gratitude for something, you are not asking, you are remembering. You are aligning with the truth that what you seek already exists on the vibrational plane, waiting for your coherence to bring it into form. Saying, "Thank you for the peace within me," feels completely different than saying, "I want peace." One is coded with fulfillment, the other with absence. One tells the field you are ready, the other tells it to wait, and your body knows the difference. Gratitude softens the nervous system, expands your heart, and silences the voice of doubt. It doesn't require belief, it simply invites presence. And from that presence, energy begins to organize in your favor. Imagine waking up and saying, "I'm grateful for the love that surrounds me," or "Thank you for the clarity guiding me today." These aren't just phrases, they are tuning forks for your frequency. When you feel the words as truth, your signal becomes clean, powerful, and magnetic. You're no longer chasing energy. You are embodying it. And that embodiment is what bends reality. You can feel the shift instantly. Your breath deepens. Your mind quiets. Your chest opens. Why? Because the field isn't responding to what you want. It's responding to who you are while you say it. Gratitude becomes your declaration without resistance. It tells the quantum that you remember who you are and that you're no longer waiting. You're available, you're aligned, and you're already whole. This subtle shift rewrites your internal programming faster than any forced affirmation ever could. Because gratitude doesn't pretend, it vibrates truth. So now, with this new foundation, let's refine how you speak your affirmations. Not from a place of asking for something to arrive, but from a deeper space of remembering what your soul already knows. Let's reshape your language to mirror your frequency. When your words are rooted in memory instead of craving, everything shifts. You are no longer speaking from the version of you that is trying to get something. You are speaking from the version of you who never forgot that it was already yours. That is the difference between energetic begging and soul remembering. When you say, "I remember who I am," you activate dormant codes within your body. Your cells respond, your breath softens, your field recalibrates. Because memory is truth, and truth carries frequency. This is why affirmations feel hollow when spoken from desperation. The universe doesn't respond to the language of your mouth. It responds to the vibration behind your words. And that vibration becomes most potent when it is aligned with the knowing that you are already whole. So shift your affirmations. Don't say, "I will find love." Say, "I remember what it feels like to be fully loved." Don't say, "I want abundance." Say, "I've always been supported in ways I didn't yet see." Speak not to request, but to reconnect. Not to create, but to recall. Because deep down, your soul already knows. You're not here to manifest something new. You're here to remember what you've always carried. Every word spoken from this space imprints a new layer of reality into your field. It strengthens the signal. It removes resistance. And it invites synchronicity. There's a deep calm that arrives when you speak like this. You're no longer negotiating with the quantum. You're harmonizing with it. The field listens differently when you speak from truth. Because you're not sending out a wish. You're anchoring a frequency. And the more you do this, the more the mirror of your life reflects back the clarity of your inner remembrance. Let your language be a bridge between dimensions. Let each phrase you whisper in the morning carry the tone of power, not pleading, because you are not waiting to become. You are waking up to what you've always been. And now, with your words, in alignment, let's solidify this vibration even deeper through visual and emotional embodiment. The next part begins now. You don't need hours of meditation or complex routines to shift your energy. What you need is presence, and just 90 seconds of it. Neuroscience shows that emotions, when unprovoked by continuous thought, naturally dissolve within 90 seconds. That means if you allow a feeling to arise, move through your body, and pass without clinging or resisting, it has the power to recalibrate your entire system. So imagine this. You wake up. Instead of rushing into the day, you pause. You sit up in bed, close your eyes, place your hand over your heart. You breathe. You picture golden light pouring into your chest, and you let the warmth of gratitude flood your body. You don't analyze it. You don't force it. You simply feel. For 90 seconds, you surrender to the energy of peace, of abundance, of enoughness. No affirmations, no scripting, no pressure. Just you, your breath, and the frequency of presence. In this small window of time, your nervous system begins to regulate. Your field begins to balance. And the energy you emit starts to match the energy you once only dreamed of receiving. You are no longer trying to become something else. You are remembering the state you were designed to embody. This practice isn't about control, it's about coherence. And the best part? It's accessible to you every single morning, no matter where you are or what you have. The simplicity is its genius. Because the more complex your morning gets, the more diluted your frequency becomes. But when you return to the basics, to breath, to sensation, to emotion, you return to your power. So what would happen if you made this a ritual? If you claimed these 90 seconds as sacred? Not as another task, but as a moment of remembrance. A moment where the old version dissolves and the true frequency emerges. You are not far from alignment. You are just one breath away. And now that you know the power of 90 seconds, let's explore how to amplify it, how to use this window as a quantum portal to accelerate your entire vibration. That's what we'll uncover next. Now that you understand the power of presence in just 90 seconds, imagine what happens when you combine it with one of the most potent tools you already possess, your imagination. Visualization is not mere fantasy. It is a neurological imprint. When you visualize something vividly, your body does not know the difference between the imagined and the real. And when paired with intentional breath, this becomes a frequency amplifier. Your breath is the bridge between the mental and the physical, the invisible and the seen. So close your eyes. Inhale deeply through your nose for 5 seconds. Exhale softly through your mouth for 5 seconds. And as you breathe, see it, not as a dream, but as a memory. The love you thought was far away, feel it wrapping around you now. The financial freedom you once chased, see yourself walking in it. The peace you've been searching for, breathe it in like sunlight on your skin. Let it be vivid. Let it be embodied. Let every breath send the signal to your nervous system that this is already true. The more fully you feel it, the more clearly your field transmits it. And the universe, responding only to vibration, begins to rearrange in your favor. Because you're no longer asking. You're being. You're not reaching. You're receiving. This is not about forcing belief. It's about softening into knowing. Because when your body feels it, the shift has already happened. And you don't need to convince yourself. You only need to allow. Breath carries the vision from the mind to the body. It makes the unseen felt. And that feeling, repeated, becomes your baseline frequency. Now ask yourself, if 90 seconds can do this, what would happen if you returned to this space every day? Not just when you feel lost, but as a way of life. Not to fix, but to remember. That's the next step in this journey. Not effort, but embodiment. Not wanting, but becoming. Let's explore how this practice, done consistently, becomes your energetic signature. What happens when this isn't just a tool, but your new normal? Let's find out. So what happens when that 90-second vision isn't a one-time moment, but a conscious daily devotion? This is where the quantum shift begins to take root. The universe doesn't respond to what you do once in a while. It responds to your dominant vibration. And repetition, when done from alignment, becomes your new signal. Each morning you return to that embodied feeling. You send the same message into the field. And as that message gains consistency, reality begins to mirror it back. Not out of obligation, but out of resonance. The field is listening, not to your wishes, but to your energy. So when your morning becomes a sacred space for remembering who you are, you no longer wake up reacting. You wake up creating. One 90-second practice may bring clarity, but when done every morning, it becomes an energetic anchor, like brushing your teeth, but for your frequency. You begin to walk differently, speak with more peace, make choices that match the version of you who already has it. There's no need to force anything. The shift happens not because you push it. It happens because you become it. Picture a person who used to wake up anxious, grabbing their phone, checking messages, chasing control. Now they pause. They breathe, they feel, and they speak from truth. After just 2 weeks of doing this consistently, the anxiety has softened. Unexpected ease shows up at work. Conversations feel lighter. Solutions appear where there used to be struggle. And nothing outside changed, only their frequency did. Reality doesn't shift because you want it to. It shifts because you embody the version of you who already lives it. And when your mornings become rituals of remembrance, your life becomes a reflection of that presence. So what happens when this practice becomes a lifestyle, a sacred rhythm, a non-negotiable meeting with your future self? In the next part, we'll explore the deeper magic of conscious repetition, not as effort, but as identity. The real power isn't in what you do, it's in who you repeatedly decide to be. Let's go there now. The way you start your morning is not just about tasks or habits. It is a declaration to the universe of who you are and what you're ready to receive. You are not waiting for the day to be good. You are broadcasting the frequency that makes it so. Every emotion you feel upon waking is a signal, and that signal sets the tone for everything to come. If you begin with rush, stress, or distraction, the world will mirror those vibrations back to you through delays, irritations, and friction. But when you pause and choose intention, the universe responds in kind. A few quiet moments of breath, of stillness, of presence can alter your entire trajectory. Imagine two versions of the same day. In one, you open your eyes immediately, grab your phone, scroll through messages, and race out the door. You spill your coffee, miss your ride, feel reactive and tense. In the other, you sit up slowly, place a hand on your heart, breathe deeply, and whisper a sentence of truth. I am the vibration of peace. I am here. I am ready. You move with ease. The morning feels smoother. The world feels softer. It's not a coincidence, it's coherence. The energy you send is the energy that returns. Just like a radio transmitter, you don't receive a good frequency by chasing it, you tune to it. And when your body, breath, and beliefs align first thing in the morning, you become a magnet for everything that matches that vibration. You don't need to fix the whole day. You only need to begin it from a frequency that reflects the life you desire. And when you do that consistently, something beautiful begins to happen. Your life shifts from reacting to creating. Your days become expressions of your energy, not battles against it. So what actually starts to change when you live this way every morning? In the next segment, we'll explore the subtle, powerful transformations that unfold when your frequency becomes your foundation. Let's step into it. Once you begin broadcasting your chosen frequency each morning, something subtle but undeniable starts to shift. You're no longer trying to chase outcomes or control the chaos around you. Instead, your inner state becomes the gravitational center around which your external life organizes itself. When you hold a consistent vibration, even for just a few minutes each day, you build stability not only in your nervous system, but in your energetic field. This consistency becomes a signal steady, unwavering, clear. And in the quantum field, clarity is currency. When you're clear in your vibration, the universe responds with matching reflections. The people who show up seem to resonate with your values. Creative ideas flow without force. Opportunities that once felt distant begin arriving naturally. The difference is profound because the change is internal. You no longer feel the need to hustle your way into alignment. You simply are alignment. Imagine starting your day with 10 deep breaths and writing down 3 words that define the energy you intend to carry. Words like abundance, clarity, presence. That energy then moves with you, speaks through you, and shapes what comes toward you. In one story, a business owner who felt drained and overwhelmed began this exact practice. Within a week, client calls became smoother. Email responses shifted tone. A delayed payment arrived without a single follow-up. Why? Because her field had shifted. Her inner broadcast no longer said stress. It said stability. She didn't push the world into shape. She aligned with a higher version of herself, and the world adapted. That is the secret. Your life begins to mirror your inner truth, not your outer effort. The transformation doesn't require more action. It requires more resonance. And when you realize that, you no longer wait for good days, you generate them. The external no longer leads you around in loops. Your frequency leads your life forward. So how do you make this frequency ritual stick? How do you turn it into a natural, unshakable part of your every morning? In the next segment, we'll explore the simple methods to lock this in so it becomes who you are, not just what you do. Let's move forward. There comes a moment when you begin to feel the contrast between effort and ease, and it changes how you approach everything. When your day begins from a grounded frequency, you stop forcing outcomes and start flowing with aligned experiences. You no longer push through your to-do list with tight shoulders and shallow breath. Instead, your actions feel guided, precise, and supported. This isn't magic, it's energetic law. Force comes from a place of lack, a subtle whisper that says you're not enough yet, or it's not working, unless it's hard. Flow, on the other hand, emerges when you start your day feeling whole. From that place of internal abundance, you attract cooperation, synchronicity, and creative momentum. The difference lies in the vibration you launch with. Start in disconnection, and the day fragments. Start in alignment, and the day supports your steps. Picture two versions of the same morning. One begins in stress, rushing to meet demands, chasing time. Tasks feel heavy, and mistakes pile up. The other begins with breath, stillness, and a simple intention like clarity or peace. That same day unfolds with fluidity. You get more done in less time, and it feels good as you move through it. The only thing that changed was the frequency. One aligned with trust, the other with tension. A client once told me her most productive days weren't the ones where she planned every minute. They were the ones where she took 5 minutes to align, breathe, and feel before touching anything external. Her creativity doubled. Her interactions softened. Flow isn't random. It's the predictable result of inner alignment repeated with consistency. And this is what we must remember. Flow is your natural state. Force is learned. So each morning is your chance to return home to ease before the world tries to make you forget. And the good news is, you don't need perfect conditions to find it again. You only need presence and a few conscious moments of frequency anchoring. In the next part, we'll uncover how to stay rooted in this vibration no matter what life throws at you. Let's step into the art of sustainable morning power. Most people don't follow through with their rituals because they believe they need to find extra time, create a perfect setup, or wait for the right mood to strike. But real transformation begins when you stop separating your inner work from your everyday life and instead allow your frequency practice to live inside it. You don't need to change your entire routine. You simply need to attach new intentions to the actions you already do. This is the power of habit stacking. Instead of waking up and trying to carve out 30 minutes of silence, what if you anchored a short ritual into something you already do without thinking? After brushing your teeth, sit still for 60 seconds, place your hand over your heart, and breathe with the intention of peace. While waiting for your coffee to brew, close your eyes for 30 seconds and whisper, "I am the frequency of calm and clarity." This works because your brain already accepts the existing behavior as natural. By stacking your ritual onto it, you're not creating friction. You're embedding the new vibration into something familiar. That's how you turn practice into identity. One of my clients wrote 3 lines of gratitude every morning while waiting for the kettle to boil. At first, it seemed too simple. But within weeks, she noticed she was more present in meetings, less reactive with her kids, and more attuned to small joys that used to go unnoticed. Why? Because the ritual became a signal to her nervous system that this day starts with presence, that she's no longer chasing peace, she's broadcasting it. You don't need a new schedule. You need new energy inside the schedule you already live. And that's how you make it sustainable. You're not forcing anything. You're flowing into it. You're not waiting for life to pause. You're learning to infuse life with intention as it unfolds. So if you're wondering what the simplest version of this practice could look like, the answer is coming. In the next segment, we'll uncover the minimalist morning protocol that rewires your energy without adding stress or complexity. Now that you understand the power of stacking energy into the rhythms you already live, the next step is to keep it simple. Simplicity is not weakness. Simplicity is precision. The most powerful rituals are not long or elaborate. They are repeatable, heartfelt, and aligned. You don't need a 10-step routine to shift your frequency. You need presence. And presence doesn't come from doing more. It comes from feeling deeper. That's why the 3S formula: silence, statement, sensation can change your mornings without adding complexity. First, begin with silence. Sit with yourself for 60 seconds. No phones, no scrolling, no rushing. Just stillness. Let your nervous system soften. Let your thoughts slow down. Let the noise of the world wait outside your breath. Second, offer a statement. Speak a phrase that aligns with your truth. It can be as simple as "I am the frequency of clarity," or "I already am supported." This isn't about forcing belief, it's about planting a vibration. Finally, move into sensation. Let the words echo into your body. Place a hand over your heart or solar plexus. Feel the energy shift as the statement becomes a vibration. Feel it not as a thought, but as a signal, a lived experience. This 3-step process sends a direct and consistent message into the quantum field. You are no longer asking, you are being. You are no longer searching, you are choosing. And it only takes a few minutes. Just like brushing your teeth or tying your shoes, this becomes a sacred frequency habit that calibrates your energy every morning. The field doesn't respond to how hard you try. It responds to how consistently you broadcast. So don't overthink your ritual. Anchor it, live it, let it become part of you. Let it unfold without pressure. And soon you'll begin to feel a difference, not because the world has changed, but because you have. The shift is subtle at first, but if you're listening, it's unmistakable. So how do you know it's really working? In the next segment, we'll explore the signs and signals that confirm your morning alignment is shaping your entire day. Now that you've simplified your morning ritual into something deeply felt and effortlessly lived, it's time to move beyond the surface of habit and into the core of transformation. True change doesn't show up as a perfectly checked box or a streak of consecutive days. It reveals itself in subtle shifts, emotional clarity, and the way you move through your life. Don't track your morning routine with pressure or perfection. Track your inner state. Ask yourself gently, how am I showing up differently today compared to yesterday? The indicators are not always loud. Sometimes they whisper through your nervous system. You'll notice you respond instead of react. You take a breath before speaking. You feel grounded even when things move fast. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. They are proof that your frequency has shifted. And as your identity anchors into a more coherent state, the external world starts to feel less chaotic. One of the most powerful tools to amplify this awareness is a single sentence written each morning or evening. Today I felt. This simple reflection invites your consciousness to notice what's new, what's unfolding, and what's no longer necessary. You're not tracking numbers. You're tracking embodiment. One real example. A man who used to wake up scrolling social media began replacing it with a minute of breath and presence. After just 1 week, he noticed he stopped reaching for his phone first thing. Instead, he opened his eyes with a gentle smile and welcomed the day. That's the shift. It's not about doing more. It's about being different. And when you record that feeling, even just for yourself, you amplify it. You become the witness of your evolution. Because in this journey, you're not managing tasks. You're becoming someone new, someone grounded, someone awake, someone aligned. So let go of rigid rules. Tune into emotional feedback. Let your state be the scorecard. And now, as this ritual becomes your foundation, let's zoom out and see how your entire identity is being shaped by the vibration you have chosen to live. In the next part, we explore the true signs that you've stepped fully into the frequency of who you really are. You've been conditioned to reach outside yourself, to grasp, to strive, to believe that the life you want lives somewhere in the distance. But what if everything you seek has always been inside you, waiting for permission to be remembered? The morning ritual is not a tool to attract what you lack. It is a sacred practice to return home to who you already are. If you begin your breath work, your affirmations, your silence with the subtle energy of chasing, of hoping, of needing something to complete you, your frequency speaks louder than your words. You may say, "I'm abundant," but if you feel empty, your body broadcasts lack. This is not about blame. It's about awareness. The shift happens when you stop using rituals to change your outside world and start letting them be reminders of your inner truth. You don't breathe to get calm. You breathe because you are calm. You don't say, "I am love," to receive love. You say it because you remember you've always been the embodiment of it. There's nothing to attract when you are the source. Just like a magnet doesn't chase, it draws everything to it by being what it is. Real-world example. A woman repeated, "I am clarity," every morning, not to force answers, but to reconnect with the clarity that was buried under noise. Within weeks, she no longer searched for validation. She simply knew. Her choices sharpened. Her peace deepened. That's the essence of remembering. And when you no longer chase, you begin to flow. Manifestation, at its highest level, is not the art of creating something new. It's the discipline of vibrating in harmony with what is already yours in the unseen. You are not on a journey to become someone better. You are on a path of revealing what has always been whole. The truth is, the ritual doesn't make you powerful. It reminds you that you are power itself. And now, as you let that remembrance settle into your field, ask yourself one question. What happens when you stop chasing altogether and start living fully from the identity that was never lost, only forgotten? Let's explore that next. When you stop reaching, when you remember that everything is already within you, something subtle but profound begins to happen. You shift from movement to magnetism, from effort to essence. No longer are you chasing outcomes or waiting for the world to respond. Instead, you begin to rest in your frequency, letting your presence do the work your mind once tried to force. This is not passivity. It is alignment. When you are truly anchored in who you are, you don't feel the urgency to fix, chase, or prove. You simply become the steady signal that everything else orients around. The energy of chasing always carries resistance, a vibration of not yet, not enough, not here. But when you rest in the knowing that you already are, that you already have, you dissolve the friction, and life flows toward you. Think of a person endlessly searching for love, constantly trying to be seen, to be chosen. Their energy broadcasts lack even when their words say otherwise. But the moment they begin each morning with the vibration of self-love, when they hold themselves as already loved, something shifts. They no longer attract from need. They radiate from wholeness. And people, opportunities, and alignment appear not because they were chased, but because they were matched. This is the quiet power of resting in your frequency. It is the choice to live from your center, not from external demand. It's the decision to no longer wait for signs, but to be the sign. And as you repeat this embodiment each morning, as you let your rituals anchor this truth deeper, your field becomes more consistent, more magnetic, more true. You are not preparing to become. You are remembering and returning to the state that was always meant to lead. That is where peace lives. That is where power rests. And as you relax into that vibration fully, your nervous system settles, your thoughts quiet, and your reality reshapes without strain. But how do you anchor this into the subconscious so that it becomes your automatic state each day? The answer lies in how you begin your mornings, not just what you do, but how deeply you feel it. Let's unlock that next. Once you stop chasing and begin resting in your frequency, the next step is to ritualize that embodiment, not as a task to complete, but as a truth to live. A morning ritual is not a request to the universe. It is a declaration of alignment, a rhythmic return to who you already are. When done with presence, it moves beyond repetition and becomes remembrance. Your mind starts to recognize this state as familiar. Your nervous system adapts. Your energy field stabilizes. This is how true embodiment begins, not by hoping something will happen, but by acting as if it already has. The more you repeat this state, the less effort it takes. Soon, your ritual stops being something you do and starts being the way you live. Think of someone who writes, "I am peace," each morning. At first, it's a statement. Then it becomes a signal. And after 3 weeks of consistency, it no longer needs to be written. Because they feel it, they become it. It radiates from them without needing to be forced. This is how a ritual becomes a biological memory, a pattern etched into your identity. It's no longer about trying to become peaceful. It's about waking up as peace itself. This is the shift from expectation to embodiment, from doing to being. And as this inner stability grows, you stop checking for results. You stop looking for proof, because the way you feel becomes the only evidence you need. Your body knows, your energy confirms, and your outer world begins to mirror it without negotiation. This is the power of repetition done from remembrance, not need. Your ritual is no longer a bridge to somewhere else. It is the anchor that keeps you rooted in what is already true. You show up not to manifest, but to reinforce your memory. You rise not to ask, but to affirm. And as you hold this frequency each morning, you walk through your day with quiet power. But how do you lock this in even deeper? How do you ensure this frequency follows you effortlessly? The answer lies in a simple phrase that holds it all together. Let's uncover it now. Every word you speak carries a vibration, and each vibration sends a message to the field around you. Especially in the first few minutes after waking, when your brain is still in the alpha state, soft and impressionable your language becomes. A powerful spell. This is not metaphor. It is neuroscience meeting frequency. In that golden window before the noise of the world enters, your subconscious listens more openly than at any other time of day. And whatever you say, it believes. So when you begin your morning with phrases like, "I'm trying," "I hope," or "I wish," you unknowingly affirm the absence of what you desire. You tell your system you're still reaching, still lacking, still waiting. But there's another way, a more aligned way. You can choose words that speak from your future identity, not about becoming, but about remembering. Instead of, "I'll try not to worry today," say, "I am grounded, I am peace." Instead of, "I hope things work out," say, "Everything is working in my favor." Your nervous system receives these messages not as fantasies, but as commands. You are no longer reacting to life. You are composing it. Imagine a woman who once began every day with, "I hope I don't fall apart." She changed her morning phrase to, "I carry calm wherever I go." Within days, her energy softened. Within weeks, her reality shifted. Not because the words had magic, but because they aligned her with the version of herself she always had access to. This is not wishful thinking. This is quantum anchoring. Your words imprint your frequency onto the canvas of your life. So choose them like an artist chooses colors, with intention, with purpose, with the awareness that every stroke shapes the scene. Speak only what your highest self would say. Let your voice echo with remembrance, not resistance. Let your language be a mirror of who you truly are. And once your words become aligned, the next step is simple but powerful. How do you repeat these mantras until they dissolve into your being? Until they are no longer said, but lived? Let's step into that next. It's not enough to just say the words. You must breathe them into your being until they stop sounding like ideas and begin feeling like memories. When a mantra is spoken without breath, the body hears it as noise. But when breath joins the words, something deeper happens. Your nervous system listens. Your cells respond. Your entire frequency adjusts. The breath is the vehicle that carries the message from mind to matter, from thought to embodiment. So instead of repeating mantras in a rushed or robotic tone, slow down. Inhale gently for 4 seconds. Let the air fill your chest with presence. Then, as you hold your breath for another 4 seconds, speak your mantra within. Let it echo in the stillness. Finally, exhale slowly as if releasing any resistance to that truth. This simple breathing cycle, inhale, affirm, hold, exhale, is more than a technique. It's an energetic transmission. With every round, your body becomes more aligned with the message. Imagine this. You close your eyes in the morning, place your hand on your chest and say, I am already aligned with everything that supports me. You breathe those words in. You feel your chest expand, your shoulders drop, your jaw soften. You're not just speaking anymore. You're becoming. You repeat this 3 times, maybe 5. Each time, the words dissolve a little more into your nervous system until they stop being something you say and start being something you are. This is where affirmation becomes transformation. Not by volume, not by force, but by coherence. Your mind, your breath, and your body form a sacred rhythm that reprograms your reality without effort. You no longer need to convince yourself. You remember. You return. You resonate. That is the real power of mantras when they are not just spoken, but breathed into your being. Now that your body understands how to receive the words, the question becomes, which words are powerful enough to begin your day with clarity and alignment? Let's choose them now together. Now that your breath and body are open, it's time to speak not as someone asking, but as someone remembering. Morning mantras are not about reaching toward a better version of yourself. They are declarations of the truth that already lives within you. The most powerful statements are simple, direct, and vibrationally aligned with the identity you are choosing to embody. Begin by selecting 1 to 3 mantras that match the frequency you wish to carry through your day. These are not wishes. They are signals. Examples include, I walk the timeline where it's already done, or I am safe to receive what is beautiful today, or I already am the one who lives in abundance. Speak these not from longing, but from knowing. Don't rush. Let each word find its place in your breath, your body, your energy field. This isn't performance, it's attuning. Each mantra is a mirror showing you who you really are beneath the noise. When you repeat it with presence, you're not trying to convince the world. You're informing your cells. You're imprinting a new baseline of identity. You're building resonance with a future that's already vibrating under your skin. The power lies in repetition with feeling, not force. Let each statement anchor you deeper into certainty. If a mantra doesn't feel true yet, soften into it rather than push. Whisper it. Breathe it. Rest with it until your nervous system begins to accept it as familiar. You can also create your own tailored to your current shift. Write them down and say them aloud each morning, as if you're reciting a fact, not a hope. That's when mantras move from mental to magnetic. That's when your words start shaping the day before you even take your first step. Mantras aren't requests. They're reminders of who you already are. And now, as your morning ritual reaches its highest vibration, let's take a moment to zoom out and remember the entire journey we've walked together, from waking in silence to speaking your soul into form. It's time to reflect, integrate, and carry this frequency into everything you do. Before any word is spoken, before any intention is declared, there is a space that holds more power than action ever could. That space is silence. In the early moments of the morning, when your brain is still in the soft rhythm of alpha waves. You are more receptive, more open, more energetically available than at any other time of day. This is not just a quiet moment, it is a portal, a gateway into who you truly are, beneath the noise, beneath the mental rehearsals and emotional loops. When you close your eyes, place your hand gently over your heart and take one slow breath. In, something ancient awakens within you. You are not trying to create a new self. You are remembering the real one. In that silence, your frequency begins to speak louder than thought. This is heart coherence, the alignment of your emotional energy, mental stillness, and physical rhythm. You don't have to force anything in this space. You simply allow. Imagine the first light of day touching your skin while you sit in that. Silence, not chasing anything, not asking for more, but simply arriving. This stillness is not empty. It is full of truth. It recalibrates you, clears your energetic field, and brings you back into resonance with your natural power. A person who sits in silence for even 2 minutes each morning begins to notice that their day flows with greater ease, that decisions feel clearer, and that reactions are replaced with responses rooted in presence. This is not meditation as a task. It is a reunion with your energetic identity. You become the vibration before you say a word. You become the frequency before you take a step. Silence doesn't require effort. It requires listening. And when you listen deeply enough, your heart opens. And when the heart opens, your words take on new life. So now, as your inner rhythm stabilizes and your energy resets, we move gently into the next layer of embodiment. It's time to activate the creative power of your voice, not to impress the world, but to imprint your truth upon it. As you emerge from the stillness, from that sacred silence where your true identity rises to the surface, the next vibration that follows is your voice. But not just any voice, it must come from wholeness. You're not speaking to get, you're speaking to remember. This is where most people unknowingly reverse their frequency. They say things like, I will have abundance, or I will be loved, without realizing they're broadcasting lack. The words may sound empowering, but the energy behind them whispers craving, waiting, separation. And the universe, always tuned to frequency, responds not to the words themselves, but to the vibration beneath them. So shift the origin. Instead of declaring what you want, speak from the vibration that it is already here. Not in fantasy, but in truth. You say, thank you that peace lives in me, and your nervous system begins to agree. You affirm, I remember now, I am always supported, and your body relaxes into that knowing. This is the moment when your words are no longer future hopes. They are present confirmations. You're not trying to become someone. You're speaking as the self that's already aligned. A woman who once whispered every day, I need clarity, shifted to, clarity moves through me effortlessly. And within days, her anxiety softened, her focus returned, and her energy sensed with that statement. Your words don't shape reality through effort. They align you with the version of yourself who already lives in that reality. This is the language of remembrance, not pursuit. It's less about volume and more about resonance. Less about repetition and more about the origin of vibration within. So now, as you begin to speak with gratitude, not for what might come, but for what already lives in your field, you move from effort to embodiment. The frequency stabilizes not through constant asking, but through conscious affirmation. And yet, there's one final piece. For a statement to become a frequency, it must not only be spoken, it must be felt. Which brings us into the next layer of this ritual, where energy becomes sensation, and the body becomes the anchor of your truth. Now that your words have spoken the truth your soul already knows, the next step is to feel it, not as a fleeting idea, but as a lived experience pulsing through your body. Thought alone cannot rewire your reality. It is sensation that embeds the frequency into your cells. Your body is not just a receiver, it is the transmitter. And in the first moments of your day, just 90 seconds of embodied feeling can shift your entire nervous system and recalibrate the tone of your day. This isn't about trying to force emotion. It's about choosing to dwell in the energy of already being. After you speak your mantra, close your eyes gently. Inhale slowly through your nose and whisper silently, "I am enough. I am whole." As you hold the breath, let the feeling of safety fill your chest. Let it spread into your shoulders, your hands, your spine. Exhale with a soft smile and feel the gratitude radiating like sunlight from your heart. This moment is your anchor. You are not trying to create the frequency anymore. You are becoming it. The key is not in duration, but in depth. When you allow yourself to fully feel abundance, peace, love, or clarity for even a minute and a half, the brain takes note. The body takes note. The field around you begins to vibrate differently. A man who did this practice daily for just 1 week noticed his anxiety began to dissolve. Unexpected opportunities arrived. Conversations felt lighter. People responded with more openness. Nothing external had changed except the internal radio station he was broadcasting from. Remember, you don't need hours. You need 90 seconds of presence. You don't need to say it again and again. You need to feel it as if it's already your truth. Because once the frequency is felt fully, the mind stops doubting and the body begins to live it. And as this ritual comes to a close, there's one final declaration that can seal this energy into your day, a single sentence so aligned, so simple, that it becomes your energetic signature for the life you are now ready to live. There is a moment each morning where the veil between timelines thins, where the self you've always been quietly waits for you to remember. In that moment, one sentence has the power to collapse the illusion of waiting and anchor you directly into the frequency of fulfillment. The sentence is simple, yet profound. I begin in already. These words are not a wish. They are a declaration, a recalibration of identity. You are not stepping into lack hoping to get somewhere. You are stepping from wholeness, from presence, from the knowing that what you desire is already vibrationally yours. In the quantum field, time is not linear, it is layered, fluid, responsive. There is no someday. There is only the now, the already. And when you begin your day from this energy, you shift timelines without force. You don't chase alignment. You speak from it. You don't hope for peace. You breathe as peace. You don't wish for love. You remember that love is your baseline frequency. Imagine waking up, placing your hand on your heart and whispering, I begin in already. Feel the stillness that follows. No resistance, no striving, only the clarity of who you've decided to be. A woman once practiced this for 7 days. She didn't change her schedule or surroundings. She changed her center. And from that space, she noticed synchronicities multiplying, conversations flowing, delays dissolving. Her life didn't speed up. It aligned. Because she no longer measured progress by what had happened outside, but by how deeply she felt who she already was. The body, the breath, and the field around her began to resonate with this identity. It's not about faking confidence. It's about resting in truth. When you begin from the frequency of already, you don't need signs to trust. You become the sign. And now, as this powerful declaration settles into your awareness, you may wonder how to help your body not just understand this truth, but feel it. The answer lies not in doing more, but in something far more powerful and immediate. It begins with the breath and the kind of presence that brings your future self into the now. After you speak the words, I begin in already, there's a sacred opportunity to anchor them beyond the mind and into the body. This is where breath becomes your bridge. Words ignite the energy, but breath carries it into your nervous system, imprinting the truth into every cell. With each inhale, you're not just drawing in oxygen, you're pulling in alignment, clarity, certainty. And with each exhale, you're releasing resistance, doubt, and the illusion of delay. Close your eyes, gently place your hand over your heart, and breathe with intention. Inhale slowly through your nose as you whisper internally, I. Hold the breath for a brief moment as you feel your chest expand. Then exhale with ease as you complete the phrase. Begin in already. Repeat this flow 3 times, allowing the words to melt into sensation. With every breath, notice how your body begins to soften, how your energy quiets, how your sense of self stabilizes. You're not trying to believe the statement, you are becoming it. You're not asking the universe to give you something. It's responding to the frequency you've just embodied. One practitioner who used this breathwork daily described how her mornings transformed from anxiety and rush into deep assurance and ease. She no longer said, I'm trying to manifest. She simply lived as if it had already arrived. And in that surrender, everything accelerated. Because her breath aligned her with what her mind could only chase. Your breath is ancient. It knows how to speak to creation far better than thoughts ever could. And when you pair breath with presence and a clear identity, you become magnetic to the timeline you've chosen. This is not about pushing harder. It's about remembering deeper. So as this energy settles into your being, let's now seal the ritual with a final spoken reminder. One sentence that gently carries your frequency into the rest of the day and into every day that follows. A whisper that holds the truth of everything you've become and everything you no longer need to seek. As your breath settles and the frequency of already radiates through your nervous system, there is one more powerful choice. You can make the choice to carry that frequency into your sleep. Because tomorrow does not begin when the sun rises. It begins the moment today ends. The energy you sleep with becomes the blueprint your subconscious follows through the night, and it quietly becomes the vibration that guides your next day. Before you drift into rest, take a moment to anchor your intention on paper. Not from a place of craving, but from pure presence. Write one sentence that speaks from your truth. I begin in abundance. I begin in love. I begin in freedom. Let it be the final thought you offer to your subconscious mind before sleep. Science has shown that our brain enters a deep suggestible state right before falling asleep. This is where transformation takes root without resistance. So instead of reviewing your worries or mentally chasing to-do lists, let your final vibration of the day be one of already being. Your cells will remember. Your field will calibrate. And when you open your eyes tomorrow, you won't be chasing alignment, you'll already be in it. One woman who practiced this simple ritual shared how her mornings became smoother, her mood lighter, and her relationships clearer without changing anything else externally. She didn't try harder. She simply shifted where she ended her day. Because your reality doesn't start in the morning. It starts the night before. You don't wake up to reality. You wake up from frequency. So let this truth guide you. I begin in already is not just a phrase. It is a foundation, a way of being, a new starting point for a life designed by vibration, not circumstance. If this video expanded your awareness, please take a moment to like, comment, and share it with someone who's ready to shift. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you never miss a moment of this journey. In the next episode, we go even deeper into the art of emotional neutrality, the key to quantum surrender. I'll meet you there.